UPSC CSE arena is an ever-evolving space where staying up to date becomes as crucial as maintaining a thorough preparation. With strategic planning and holistic coverage for exam syllabus, Vision IS Delhi presents GS Foundation course. Avail analysis and integration of current affairs with GS syllabus. All India test series with an innovative assessment system, inculcating post-test analysis, discussion, all India ranking, and more. Explore the holistic learning modules intrinsically designed for the ideal aspirant.
So hi, good afternoon. So a very warm welcome to you, and some of you are the new faces and some of you are from the old batches. So I'll just start because already that 20-minute extra you have taken because of the question and answer session. Session was just for 1 hour, less than 1 hour actually. So I hope some of you already know my name, but then I would like to little bit introduction of mine to you. So my name is Neeraj Rao and I'm the faculty of the History, Art and Culture since the inception of the institute. And the so inception of the institute, that classroom program which started 14 years back. So since I'm the one who is responsible for ancient, medieval, modern and these all sections. Then moreover, I'm also an author who has authored 2 books on UPSC preparation. One is with the general studies and another is the art and culture. So let's start with that. What is the agenda of the class today? So this session today, as you know that history is a big portion, very important portion in the examination, and we'll see that how many questions are asked in the prelims and the mains stage of exam. So history, as far as the syllabus of the history is concerned, that also we'll see that what syllabus UPSC is asking. So that one thing that people have a conception about the history that it's a factual in nature. In reality, everything is factual in nature. All the subjects are factual in nature. But moreover, in history, that people generalized it in the form of the dates and the events. So dates and events are important. But then once you look at the UPSC examination, it's not too particular about the dates. And then it's all about that how you are reading, what methods you are adopting for studying history that makes it not the fact ridden but the story laden and then interesting also. So depends that with whom you are getting taught, who is teaching you and how you are approaching the subject. So nothing can be discussed without the premise. And what is the basic premise of the history? Basic premise is the syllabus itself. Then I hope that since you are here for this open session, so you are aware the person about this examination. You already know that there are 3 stages of exam: prelims, mains, and interviews. Then, so interview is open-ended, but then there is this defined syllabus for the prelims examination in the prelims examination, and so is in the mains examination. So whenever you embark on any journey, you just look at the premise of it, and the premise of the UPSC is the syllabus itself. And then accordingly you orient yourself, you purchase books, you go for the reading list. That's how you do, or maybe you enroll in a coaching class also. So as far as the syllabus of the history is concerned, so let's start with the prelims part of the exam. Okay, so I'm directly coming to the part. So general studies paper 1 in the prelims part, as you can see, that there are total 100 questions which you will be solving in the general studies in 2 hours. So there are other sections also. I'm not dealing with that. Obviously, the other faculties responsible for these subjects will be going with that. अब history में देख लो, what is mentioned over here? History of India, Indian national movement. This is what is mentioned in your prelim syllabus. It's a very open end. मतलब I would say कि ऐसे बोला था हमने कि interview open ended है. But यहाँ पे ये syllabus भी, it's not very much clarity is given in the syllabus कि history of India. Meaning that history of India mein what all things will be there? Ancient history, medieval history, modern history, then national movement. So what is Indian national movement? So a particular phase of the modern Indian history is called as national movement. So we'll tell you exactly that 1885 when Congress was founded until India's independence, so that is called as Indian national movement. Year duration 1885 to 1947 is the modern Indian history ka Indian national movement. And uske pehle ka part, I hope you're comfortable in Hindi also. I'll use a little bit then. So the part before it is your that modern Indian history, but then of other nature like regional kingdoms, later Mughal power, many other things, right? So that is mentioned over here, but there is something which is not mentioned, but the questions are asked. Then what is it? Art and culture of India. So art and culture is implicit in the history of India itself because culture is the part of the history itself. Then so art and culture of India, it's implicit in this part. अब ये 7 sections हैं. These are the 7 sections. कितने हैं? You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 sections are there. Out of the 7 section, in last from 2011 onwards, that is the year when CSAT pattern started. So abhi tak total 14 paper has happened, and in this 14 paper of the prelims, the average number of the question from the modern Indian history, ancient and medieval history, and art and culture combined is 17.5. So out of 100 questions, 17.5 is the average number of the question in last 14 years. Then you can have a look at that also. अभी पहले trend analysis पे जैसे you can see that I have kept it 2019 तक, उसके आगे का I'll tell you. So as you can see that from ancient and medieval art and culture and modern Indian history, अब कैसे vary हो रहा है. So 2011 why I have taken, that was the very first year जब ये pattern start हुआ था. So 15 question, 19, 16, 22. So it has gone maximum to 22. Then 16, 17, 15, 21. Once again, it has gone little high. 16. Then the next year was 23. Then उसके बाद then एक year 14 भी आया है. और last year it was once again 17. तो general figure अगर जो इसमें देखोगे तो 17 के around आ रहा है. तो this much you can expect from this particular section. Now have a look at the previous part. ठीक है, ये तो prelims की बात हो गई. Let's look at the mains examination. So mains examination में what all parts of history are mentioned. There are 2 additional parts which we are not referring it over here. Additional parts of the history, ancient medieval होगा ही, art and culture होगा ही, and modern Indian history is also the part. But then 2 new parts that they have added in mains examination is the post-independence part and so as the world history. तो post-independence क्या है कि इंडिया के independence के बाद 1947 के बाद what all developments have happened in the Indian politics and everything till this time. So that's a bigger phase. But then it has been kept in the mains examination only. You will not be asked any questions in the prelims examination. It's not the part of the prelims. So ये part सिर्फ mains में पढ़ना है, post independence. Then another part of the history which is mentioned in the mains stage of examination, that is world history. अब world history में the major focus of the UPSC questions in the mains examination is the industrial revolution. ठीक है, then different revolutions in the different European countries like French Revolution, German Revolution, then American Revolution, Japanese Industrial Revolution. So these all are the topics, and इसके अलावा World War I, World War II is also been the favorite topic in the world history syllabus. So these 2 sections are only there in the mains stage of exam, not in the prelims. But ancient, medieval, art and culture, modern Indian history are the part of the pre and mains both. So let's have a look at GS mains के syllabus पे. Then so in GS mains, GS paper 1 and mains syllabus, so 3 parts of the history which I'm mentioning over here. First of all, पहला ही part is the culture. What they have mentioned, Indian culture will cover the salient aspects of the art forms, literature, and architecture from ancient to modern times. So, Indian art and culture, they are talking about art forms, could be dance, could be music, then painting, then literature of India. So, starting from the Sanskrit, Tamil, then Telugu, Odia, then these all, but different. Now, this year, Marathi has been given classical literature status, Pali has been given classical literature status. So, these are the parts of the literature and architecture from ancient to modern time. So, architecture from the very initial phase, that is Indus Valley civilization, say if we start counting until the modern times, basically the British architecture they are asking about. Then, so architecture actually, जब syllabus देखोगे or questions देखोगे, तो you will find that architecture is the topic from the art and culture, which almost makes 50% of your syllabus. Then, जहाँ से they have asked the question time and again, time and again, time and again. Then, so architecture makes half the chunk of your question, and rest of the chunk is from the other parts of it. Then moreover, art and culture will also include the religion and philosophy. Okay? So for example, earlier when we were talking about the history of India in the prelim stage of exam, तो इसमें religions are also there, Buddhism, Jainism, जहाँ से बहुत ज़्यादा question आते हैं, तो that is also the part of it. Then let's come to now what they have done, that modern history के two parts they have mentioned in the syllabus. So these are the two parts, that modern Indian history syllabus in two parts in the main stage of exam. First, you read modern Indian history from about the middle of the 18th century until the present, significant events, personalities, and issues. So, what is the middle of the 18th century? 1750 onwards. And one of the big fight which has happened after 1750s is the Battle of Plassey. Then so these are the events: Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, Anglo-Mysore War, Anglo-Maratha War, then that wars in Bengal to different places. Then so these all wars are the significant events, and then personalities and the issues. So basically, when we talk about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Sambhaji Maharaj, then Tipu Sultan, Hyder Ali, the Nawab of Bengal, Sirajuddaulah, Alivardi Khan. So these are the significant personalities and also the other events which has happened at this point of time. So that is the first part of syllabus. So this first part of the syllabus is not national movement. Okay? These are the developments. What is this? This is the national movement. Then तो जैसे prelims के syllabus में they have said Indian national movement, so that Indian national movement is over here in the main syllabus is further defined. So freedom struggle, its various stages and important contributions from different parts of the country. Then, so what does it mean? Understand, freedom struggle and its various stages. A freedom struggle may, when you will be embarking on learning the things related to modern, तो उसमें पढ़ोगे that there were generalized two type of movement. एक तो जो violence से भरा है, and second one which is non-violent. So two type of the movements would be there: violent movements and non-violent movements. Then even in these movements there are different natures. So for example, the movements initiated by Congress, the movements initiated by Gandhi, then the movements initiated by many other parties. So that all will come under the that this various phases. Then in fact Gandhian movement में ही बहुत सारे phase हैं. So Gandhi, for example, when Gandhi has returned back to India from South Africa in 1915, so his regional intervention, फिर उसके बाद then non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, then quit India movement. So there are itself many phases are there in the Gandhian phases itself. So different phases of the freedom struggle you study over here. Then now, this is the part of the syllabus, right? But I haven't mentioned that how many questions you are asked in the mains examination from the art and culture, ancient, medieval, and modern. So let's have a look at it. So 2013 was the first year when the new syllabus was introduced in the mains examination, and total out of 20, total 8 questions were there from this section. 2014 maybe 8 questions were there, 17, that then you see 7, 5, 5, 6, 6, and in the recent past last year total 6 questions were there, uske piche bhi total 6 questions were there, uske piche bhi total 6 questions were there. So 6 question is quite common, but then we can consider 6 to 7 questions are asked in the mains examination. Moreover, generally in the mains examination, the portion is half divided into modern and art and culture. तो 3 क्वेश्चन मॉडर्न से, 3 क्वेश्चन आर्ट एंड कल्चर एंशियंट मेडिवल से. But in the recent last 3 years, they have asked less questions from the modern and more questions from the art and culture. जैसे कि last year 4 क्वेश्चन थे art and culture ancient medieval से and 2 questions from the modern. Then उसके पिछले साल also it was similar way. तो it's up to UPSC that some year they ask one additional question in modern and some year they ask one additional question in art and culture. So both the sections are equally important then, and it depends that which year exam you are giving and which sections from which section you are getting more number of the question. So this is what is about the trend analysis. But then moreover, how many questions are asked in the mains paper? Generally 20 questions. So 20 में से 6 से 7 क्वेश्चन तुम्हारे इससे बिलोंग करेंगे. इसके अलावा पेपर 1 में और क्या है सिलेबस में? आई थिंक मैम मस्ट टोल्ड यू, ठीक है, दैट there is a society paper also and there is a geography paper also. So mains में जो सबसे ज़्यादा question होते हैं paper 1 में, that is from geography. And so that is from geography, and then history and society is equally spaced. Then let's come to the next part after it. अब related to this section, cut off I'm not discussing when you come to the classes. So then ये चाहो तो देख सकते हो, ठीक है, वैसे तो it's not big thing. तो I have jotted down till 2021. You can see, you can have a look. तो cut off earlier यहाँ तक देखो 2014 तक, ठीक है, it is 400 and after that now it is in 200. So the initial year in which CSET was there, तो CSET start होने के पहले साल में 198 was the cutoff. This year 209, but this year this is the highest cutoff till this date. Out of 400, 241 in 2013. And moreover, this year questions in the CSAT paper were very similar to the that SSC CGL level examination. तो उसमें क्या था? And those were also the years, you must not be aware that SSC CGL combined graduate level में बहुत vacancies आई थी, ठीक है, पिछले 5 साल में, मतलब 3 साल में there were huge vacancies. So large number of people were preparing for it and questions were very similar to that. तो कट ऑफ अचानक से ऊपर हो गया because CSET पेपर में people were scoring 170 plus out of 200. Then a protest and movement happened. 2014 तक CSET was included and then after CSET was removed, it became qualifying paper. So from here onwards, you see that 2015 107.34 was the cutoff. 2016 was the highest in this new trend. So that is almost 58%. But then there is a decrease in the cutoff. So 105, 98, 98, 92, 2021 में 87.5, then 85.34 and पिछले साल का cutoff क्या था? 76. Which is almost 38%. So you just need to understand that when you are looking at the cutoff from 2018 to 2024 और इस year का paper जो था, it is expected that 2024 के paper में cutoff would be 90 plus then, but still it is not going to cross 100. So what it is indicative of? That do you need to score 100%? Nobody can score 100% in the prelims examination. So you need to be very doing the cost benefit analysis and then your own calculation must be there. So if the cutoff is low, what does it mean? That paper is tough. Okay, paper is tough, and one of the section where paper can be made tough is the ancient and medieval. So UPSC has always the scope to ask very difficult question, and believe me, okay, since I'm here in the market from last 16 years then and I'm teaching this subject, so that difficult question they do ask in the ancient and medieval, okay, that is the section. Other portions also other teachers will tell you, but they do ask. And moreover, if you run after those information, you will never be able to clear the exam. So what you need to do, that there is always strategic question and strategic facts which you need to remember. When you remember those facts and you put a restraint while attempting the question, you will always clear the exam. And believe my words, why should you believe? You yourself will test yourself then once you are there in the exam. So I'm just telling you the observation. This exam is not cleared on the basis of, particularly when I talk about the prelims examination, it is not cleared on the basis of that how many difficult questions you solved. It is always cleared on the basis of you did not attempted the wrong in the easy questions. So you are not committing any wrong in the easy question. When you commit mistake in the easy questions, you flicker in this exam. The exam is always cleared on the basis of the easy question. Cutoff itself is indicative of it, and each and every paper will have easy and moderate question. So you must not commit mistake on easy and moderate question. Difficult question, if it is difficult for you, difficult for everybody in the market. And then moreover, as far as the guidebooks and everything, even NCRTs are concerned, so if UPSC is asking those difficult questions, so it is not to be found anywhere. Then once the question has been asked in the prelims or mains examination, mains में तो चलो question के nature थोड़े doable होते हैं, but prelims में if difficult questions are asked, so only when the question is asked, then next 1 week के अंदर people get to know कि कौन से resource से पूछा है. और कभी कभी यूपीएससी तो मेक्सिको यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर की किताब से भी पूछ लेते हैं. Then once you will be there in the classes, so definitely we'll be talking about it. So now understand that go with the normal resources. That's what my take on this exam, that go with the normal resources, be comfortable, prepare it, revise it, do the scientific do follow the scientific revision pattern, and you will always clear the exam. Prelims will not be a difficulty. I have seen that people clearing prelims exam with in a very easy way, very comfortable way, because they have realized, they have got to know that what are the nuances associated with it, and they are following in the same way. But कुछ लोगों के लिए prelims बहुत difficult हो जाता है, ठीक है, because they are committing the same mistake time and again. And for example, चलो एक एग्जाम्पल देके ही बताऊंगा, that in 2021 there was a question in the modern Indian history, and the question was basically, उसका आंसर मेंशन था, there was a one author or basically professor from Mexico University, her name was Isita Banerjee. वो किताब कहीं इस मार्केट में या कोई भी नहीं जानता है that this is a book of the modern. UPSC asked a question related to that, this शेर कथा question, and then now everybody was stumped कि कहाँ से आ गया. और UPSC market is very unique कि next week में this old Rajendra Nagar market was flooded with that particular book, ठीक है, and everybody was like कि इसिता दुबे बनर्जी खरीद लिया, पढ़ लिया, and moreover suppose that सबने खरीद लिया, सबने खरीद के रख लिया, even some of them studied it also, but what was the result? From 2021, 22, 23, 24, not even a single question has been asked from that book. तो एक question के लिए एक किताब के पीछे नहीं भागोगे. Getting it? So that question was the difficult question. Consider it as a drop question कि 100 है तो 100 में से एक क्वेश्चन हट गया, 99 क्वेश्चन बचे हुए हैं. So that is there. So we will talk about normal resources with which comfortably you can clear the exam. So let's move on to the next part. So after this, that reference book I'll let you know, but थोड़ा बहुत मैं syllabus के बारे में बताना चाहता हूँ कि what all sections they do ask. As far as the ancient and medieval is concerned, तो ancient medieval में that once you start reading the subject, तो and you start looking at the PYQs. देखो, if you don't look at the PYQs, so it means that you are not preparing well. What is PYQ? Previous year question. एक क्वेश्चन ये उठता है कि कितने साल का देखना चाहिए, तो मैं बोलूँगा कि प्रीलिम्स में 20 इयर्स का देखना चाहिए और मेंस में 2013 ऑनवर्ड्स देखो, ठीक है, because 2013 was the first year of the new syllabus. So in mains you see from 2013 onwards, but in prelims you see last 20 years. And many a times people say that they can predict the FYQs or UYQs, ठीक है. What is FYQs? Future year questions, and UYQs upcoming year question. It is quite right, but कैसे ये prediction हो सकता है? Only on understanding the previous year question. जब previous year question paper देखोगे तभी predict कर सकते हो कि अगले साल क्या आने वाला है. You yourself will be able to notice the trend, and then suppose even that there is a topic of the subsidiary alliance system. Then so subsidiary alliance system suppose किसी year पूछ लिया exam में, तो subsidiary alliance system से related और क्या information है similar to that kind of policy. So then you are reading those all, तो then you can predict कि in एसोसिएटेड 5 टॉपिक में से हो सकता है कि एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन आए. तो लास्ट ईयर पेपर इज योर आईज एंड ईयर. वन मोर थिंग यू कैन आस्क मी कि क्वेश्चन रिपीट होते हैं या नहीं होते हैं. questions do get repeated, but very minimal percentage. Done. So 3 to 5% questions do get repeated. I'll let you know. 2013 and 2014 and 2015, there were 2 questions were exactly repeated. Odia as a classical literature question, and then which all places were associated with the life of Buddha. तो यही question 2014 में पूछा था, and exactly not even changed the wording they asked in the 2015 also. Then n number of the questions are there. क्योंकि history एक static subject है, art and culture is a static subject, modern Indian history is also a static subject. तो यहाँ पे obviously fact will not change. अगर जो क्विट इंडिया मूवमेंट है तो क्विट इंडिया ही रहेगा, वो कोई और इंडिया तो नहीं हो जाएगा. तो whatever information is there, one way or another way they will be asking the question from those topics itself. तो history में एक थोड़ा सा advantage यही होता है कि if you are well versed with the syllabus and also PYQs, so then definitely you will be able to solve some additional question. एक और trend I would recommend to you कि मैंने एक सेशन लिया था आई थिंक 15-20 दिन पहले, 10-year PYQ, ठीक है, ऑफ एंशिएंट मेडिवल एंड आर्ट एंड कल्चर, उसको देख लो. उसमें 10 year में आई हैव ऑब्जर्व्ड अ ट्रेंड बता रहा हूँ दैट फॉर एग्जाम्पल देयर वाज अ क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड टू इनाम गांव. देन तो पिछले साल वो क्वेश्चन है इनाम गांव पे, नेक्स्ट ईयर ऑल्सो इनाम गांव से रिलेटेड एक और क्वेश्चन पूछ लेते हैं बट इन अ डिफरेंट वे, एंड मेनी अदर ऑप्शंस ऑल्सो दे इंक्लूड इन इट. सो दिस ट्रेंड की लास्ट 10 year पेपर में आई हैव काउंटेड 12 क्वेश्चंस आई हैव सीन जो कि पिछले ईयर उससे रिलेटेड कोई क्वेश्चन है, एंड नेक्स्ट ईयर वंस अगेन it's been mentioned in the option as a wrong option or right option. So you have to analyze the previous year paper also. That's how you get the FYQs, future year questions. Then तो ये part जरूर करना, and you can always that we do continuously repeat these kind of session. जैसे हम हर 4 से 5 महीने में ये 10 year PYQ वाला सेशन रिपीट करते हैं. तो इफ़ यू आर हेयर और इफ़ यू आर गेटिंग द नोटिफिकेशंस, यू कैन अटेंड दैट, देन it will be actually very beneficial. There were a few students this year who went through that session and they were able to that correct those questions which were actually difficult in the paper. Then they came and they said to me that it was very helpful, that session was helpful. So anyways, so you do go with that session and analyze the trend. As far as the syllabus is concerned, so syllabus में क्या पूछते हैं? Ancient में ancient start with the that Paleolithic age, Stone Age. Then तो इन एनी ऑफ द, चाहे यहाँ कोचिंग करो चाहे कहीं करो या नहीं करो, ठीक है, बट देन यू स्टार्ट योर प्रिपरेशन विद द पैलियोलिथिक पीरियड, मेसोलिथिक पीरियड एंड नियोलिथिक पीरियड. सो पिछले 10-15 साल की बात करूं तो इन लास्ट 15 years दे डिड नॉट आस्क एनी क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम दीज ऑल पीरियड्स, एंड ऑल ऑफ सडन दे आस्क्ड क्वेश्चन इन लास्ट 3 years फ्रॉम द स्टोन एज. तो इट मीन्स दैट यू कैन नॉट नेग्लेक्ट दिस सेक्शन. फिर उसके बाद देन आफ्टर स्टोन एज आवर डिस्कशन गोज टू द इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन. देन इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन के बाद वैदिक पीरियड के बाद स्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ 16 महाजनपद, और महाजनपद में द मोस्ट पावरफुल महाजनपद वाज मगध, ठीक है. सो डिस्कशन ऑन हिस्ट्री ऑफ मगध महाजनपद, एंशिएंट का बता रहा हूँ कि व्हाट सीक्वेंस गोज. सो दैट मगध महाजनपद, एंड मगध महाजनपद में व्हाट ऑल डायनेस्टीज रूल्ड इन मगध. तो स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम हरियंका, देन शिशुनाग डायनेस्टी, नंदा डायनेस्टी एंड द मोस्ट पावरफुल मौर्य डायनेस्टी. तो अभी तक जो भी डिस्कशन किया, द फेवरेट टॉपिक ऑफ द यूपीएससी इन बोथ प्रीलिम्स एंड मेंस एग्जामिनेशन, एक तो इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन, देन सेकेंड इज द वैदिक पीरियड. जैसे मेंस एग्जामिनेशन में लास्ट 3 year में क्वेश्चन काफ़ी पूछे हैं वैदिक पीरियड से, तो वैदिक पीरियड. देन प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन में मौर्य पीरियड हैज़ बीन द फेवरेट, और मौर्य से व्हाट दे हैव आस्क्ड, Asoka periods, edicts and inscription, different edicts and inscriptions of Asoka, and then moreover stupa, pillars, these all type of the questions. Then let's come to after Maurya. So Maurya was the last period in which there was a centralized administration. उसके बाद then there is a fragmentation in the Indian politics, and fragmentation में क्या होता है, that Maurya Asoka was ruling on entire India, almost entire India, but after his demise, many regional, meaning indigenous dynasties, and many foreigners also came. So two type of the rulers are there in India in post Maurya age. One indigenous में it all starts with the Sunga, Kanava and Satvahan, and outsiders में Indo-Greeks, then Scythians, Sakas and Parthians. So there are 4 outsiders, 3 insiders. Their rule will continue till 300 AD. 300 AD mein, once again, there is a change which is happening in the Indian society in the North India. So in North India, Guptas are emerging by 300 and their rule will continue till 600. On the other hand, in South India, there is emergence of the Sangam age dynasties, Chola, Chera and Pandyas. Then, so 600 tak, this is the normal scenario in South India and North India. North mein Guptas are the rulers, South India mein Chera, Chola and Pandyas. But in South India, after 600, then there is emergence of 2 new dynasties, powerful dynasties, Chalukya and Pallavas. And in North India, Guptas are completely replaced. They have dwindled from India. And the most powerful ruler in North India is Harshvardhan, then Pushyabhuti dynasty. So these are the dynasties from where they ask question. अब इतना जो भी मैंने बताया है, इसमें से कहाँ से questions आते हैं? तो favorite of the UPSC is the Gupta period. Then in both prelims and mains examination, a large chunk of the questions have been asked from the Gupta period. Then another section is the Sangam age, basically Chola, Chera, Pandyas. Usme se some questions that every 3rd year, 4th year, they do ask a question from the Chola, Chera and Pandyas. Then as far as Harshvardhan is concerned, so last 14 year mein there has been 3 questions from the Harshvardhan's topic. Then Pallava and Chalukya. So Pallava and Chalukya becomes more important in the temple architecture. Okay? So they do ask question from the temple architecture part of the Pallava Chalukyas. Okay? Then the last important dynasty in the ancient age is basically mainline Chola dynasty in Tamil Nadu, and so as the North India में or Central India में Pal rulers of East India, Bihar, Bengal, then Rashtrakoot of Central India and Pratihar Gurjar of the Western India. So these are the last of the dynasties that we read in the ancient India. अब इसमें से जो questions आए हैं, ठीक है, Pal dynasty UPSC has preferred, and that too in the mains examination. But Pratihar Gurjar say they haven't asked question. From Rashtrakuta they have asked question, ठीक है, 1 or 2 questions. जहाँ तक रही बात मेनलाइन चोला डायनेस्टी की, सो rather than asking the that history, polity, economy, they have asked their temple architecture contribution. तो ये ancient India हो गया तुम्हारा. Then let's come to medieval India. So medieval India, the real ongoing or beginning of the medieval India can be traced to the period of the 712 when the first Islamic invasion in India has happened. और पहला Islamic invasion था Muhammad bin Qasim in 712. But this Muhammad bin Qasim's invasion hasn't led to establishment of the Islamic rule in India. Firm Islamic rule establishment has happened in 1206 और उसके पीछे की कहानी है राजपूत किंगडम से. So in classes or in your notes you will be studying that is basically fight of Muhammad Ghori with Prithviraj Chauhan. So after Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated in Battle of the Rhine 1192, then after informal Turkish rule has started in India and 1206 foundation of the Delhi Sultanate. So Delhi Sultanate 1206 to 1526 and इस ड्यूरेशन में many dynasties have ruled in Delhi Sultanate. पहली dynasty slave dynasty till 1290, second dynasty is the Khilji dynasty till 1320, and then third is the Tughlaq 1320 to 1414, and 1414 to 1451 is Sayyid, and the last dynasty was the Lodhi from 1451 to 1526. So that is Delhi Sultanate. But Delhi Sultanate के duration में UPSC generally asks the questions from the regional dynasties, meaning that Indian kingdoms of this period. So what are the important Indian kingdoms from this period 1206 से 1526 के बीच में? I'll tell you. So there is that most important Vijayanagar kingdom. UPSC has asked n number of the question in the prelims examination and so as in the mains examination from the Vijayanagar kingdom. Then uske alawa that Hoysala kingdom. Then so Hoysala was a kingdom in the which area? that Karnataka area, then Kakatiya kingdom, which was in the Andhra area. So regional kingdoms of India from the medieval age has been favorite of the UPSC in last 6 years in the prelims examination. So generally they asked Ikka Dukka. I hope you understand Ikka Dukka question from the main Delhi Sultanate dynasties, but more they asked from the regional kingdoms. Then 1526 onwards, it is the Mughal rule. So Mughal rule continues from 1526 to 1707 till the death of Aurangzeb. And this period also, once again, UPSC has gone with some of the policies they do ask from the Mughal rulers, but in last 5-6 years, एक बार फिर से regional dynasties, and moreover they are asking questions related to travelers. Then, so which all travelers, physicians, surgeons who have come from the different parts of the world, then propagation of Christianity in this phase. So these question has been common in last 5-6 years, but understand that though the period is the Delhi Sultanate and Mughal, but question directly based on the Mughal is there, one or two, but not more than that. Then अब ancient medieval खत्म होने के बाद then let's talk about the art and culture part. So art and culture, या पहले modern कर लेते हैं, then I'll tell you the art and culture part. So modern syllabus, so as far as the modern is concerned, modern में अभी हमने syllabus देखा, what has been mentioned, that history of India from the middle of 18th century, मतलब 1750 onwards. But then understand, ये तो mains में mentioned है, but in the prelims, what is mentioned, history of India and national Indian movement, meaning that कि right from the Stone Age till present you need to read. So basically to understand the foundation or beginning of the modern Indian history, सबसे पहले जानना क्या ज़रूरी है, advent of Europeans, because in modern Indian history what we read, colonization of India by British. India became a colony of Britain, but ये process हुआ कैसे, how it happened. So you need to understand advent of Europeans, meaning arrival of Europeans from direct sea route, and how they consolidated or how they created their warehouses, factories, trading centers in India. So in this episode, we talk about, just before going into 1750s, we talk about Portuguese, okay, their arrival, Vasco da Gama and these all people. Then apart from it, Dutch East India Company, British East India Company, French East India Company. So these are the four important companies that we study. Then moreover, we see that how they are progressing, what kind of alliances they are creating in India, and then moreover, how they are going to utilize the fight between the two Indian rulers is happening and how they are interfering in that fight. So last 5 years, understand, modern Indian history में the most favorite topic of the UPSC in the prelims examination is the advent of Portuguese. Portuguese से भर भर के सवाल पूछे हैं. And moreover, I know that many of you must have purchased some books related to modern Indian history. Have you purchased anything? कुछ खरीदा है? बताओ तो फिर then obviously I will tell you. How many of you have purchased the book you are saying, Spectrum? A good chunk of you. ठीक है? Let me tell you, last 5 years there were 5 questions from the Portuguese and only 1 question was mentioned in your Spectrum. ठीक है? तो guidebooks की reality is altogether different than that you run after so many guidebooks, and you have to come up with your own strategy, your own way of doing the value addition and analysis of the last year paper. Then you go ahead with the guidebook. If you believe that you have purchased Spectrum और उसके basis पे पूरी तैयारी हो जाएगी, तो it will be like that कि it will be dampener to your hopes. That बहुत easy से भी questions थे this year paper also, it is not mentioned. And what they will do, generally any guidebook what they do, that इस year paper हो गया, you are preparing, you have come next year, then बट तुम्हारे देखने के लिए तो पीछे के साल के पेपर हैं, आगे का तो किसी को भी नहीं पता है. तो देन व्हाट यू डू दैट व्हेन यू परचेज द बुक, तो व्हाट दे हैव डन दैट 2024 के क्वेश्चन कहीं बीच में थोड़ा सा ऐड कर दिया है, एक लाइन ऐड कर दिया. तो टू यू इट विल सीम दैट सब कुछ दिया हुआ है. सब कुछ दिया कब है? जब पूछ लिया गया है तब दिया गया है. देन तो यू हैव टू बी अवेयर अबाउट इट. So don't be over dependent on the, I'm not saying that you don't purchase, don't read, you can, it's up to you, but then over dependency is not right. And moreover what we have seen कि जो हम लोग यहाँ पे classes में कराते हैं, ठीक है, we have 3 faculties of the modern Indian history. तो whatever we do in the classes, हमारे क्लासेस से जितने क्वेश्चन आते हैं वो हमेशा स्पेक्ट्रम से एक दो ज़्यादा ही होते हैं, then rather than the guidebooks being more effective in the examination. And I would say that any good teacher who has expertise in the modern, they will be doing the same kind of way, the same justice. It's not about just us, but good teacher of the history. And there could be a number of the good teachers in the different parts of the country. So guidebooks pe over dependent mat rehna. So now let's look at the syllabus. So what I was telling you, advent of Europeans say, they are asking questions. फिर advent of European के बाद then another background to the modern Indian history is basically decline of Mughals. कि that Aurangzeb के death के बाद how rapidly Mughals have declined. So sons of the Aurangzeb, their ineffective policies we will see in this part, or we do see in the 1707 to 1857 के बीच में. Because when the Mughal power is declining, then only the power of the British and other regional kingdoms, Bengal, Maratha, Mysore, Punjab, is increasing. Then, so that is the initial part of the discussion, that you read about Maratha Empire, you read about Bengal Kingdom, you read about Mysore Kingdom under Hyder Ali, Tipu Sultan, then Maharaja Ranjit Singh in Punjab, and then moreover, you also read in the syllabus confrontation of the regional powers with the British East India Company. So British are not only defeating that later Mughal emperors, basically the sons of Aurangzeb, but also regional kingdoms one by one. पहले Bengal, फिर Mysore, फिर Maratha, और last में Punjab and Awadh also. So since they have defeated all these kingdoms by 1857, and many such local rebellions were also there, कि छोटे छोटे गांव से रिबिलियन हो रहा है, ट्राइबल कम्युनिटी रेबेल कर रही है ब्रिटिश के अगेंस्ट. सो दीज ऑल सम्ड अप टुगेदर resulted into a very big revolt, that is 1857. So 1857 तक तुम्हारे syllabus का एक part है, and the second part of syllabus is the freedom struggle, but there is something in between also. What is it? Socio-religious reform. तो एक बार पीछे जाते हैं, ठीक है? Just wait for a minute.
A stronghold over current affairs is your way to succeed in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Brace yourself and get detailed coverage of relevant news both nationally and internationally. With the monthly current affairs revision program starting from 26th October at 5 p.m. Enroll today and elevate your current affairs knowledge with comprehensive coverage of current affairs compiled through relevant sources such as the Hindu Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB Yojana, and others. Expert support and personalized mentoring. Comprehensive assessment through MCQs and mains-oriented questions.
So, what has been mentioned, अब यहाँ पे देखो, modern Indian history from about the middle of the 18th century until present, significant events, personalities and issues. तो ये अगर जो if I take the word issues, so what are issues? Issues of orthodoxy in the Hindu society, Muslim society, Sikh society, then this is what is socio-religious reform, and also the personalities associated with the socio-religious reform. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Swami Vivekanand, Mrs. Annie Besant, then Pandita Ramabai, Kandakuri Veer Salingam, then Sri Narayan Guru. So these all topics you read in the middle. 1857 के बाद you study socio-religious reform, and as far as the number of the question from the socio-religious reform is concerned, 10% in the prelims examination and 10% in the mains examination. So it makes the 10% of the syllabus of UPSC also, and 10% of the question from the history also. And so every year in prelims examination, you will find one question from the socio-religious reform, and हर 2 साल के बाद एक question in the mains examination from the socio-religious reform. Then after the end of the socio-religious reform, suppression of the 1857 revolt, nationalism is rising in India, and the foundation of Congress in 1885. So this is the beginning of the national Indian national movement or freedom struggle. A freedom struggle में there were two type of the movement, non-violent and violent movements. So non-violent के nature बहुत ज़्यादा है, ठीक है? Some of them are initiated by Congress and also by Gandhi and other parties. But the violent movements are called as revolutionary movements. Then, so let's look at the non-violent वाला part पहले. Congress के foundation के साथ ही, so I have to look at the time also because other faculty would be waiting, and moreover I too have a class because your first session थोड़ा तुम लोगों ने सवाल ज़्यादा पूछ लिए थे मैम से तो एक्सटेंड हो गया. तो लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड. तो स्टार्ट होता है दैट फाउंडेशन ऑफ द इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस, और फाउंडेशन के बाद व्हाट इज दैट moderate phase of freedom struggle which continues till 1905. Then 1905 में British authority are dividing in Bengal on the lines of the Hindu and Muslim, East Bengal, West Bengal, East Bengal Muslim population, West Bengal Hindu population. So when this division happened, Indian freedom struggle enters into the second phase which is called as extremist phase. Then ये continue रहता है 1915 तक. Then apart from it, on one hand these are going on, but revolutionary parts are also going on, meaning that youth of India who are not satisfied with the non-violent movement, they are taking the law in the hand, they are fighting with the British authority. Then so many such revolutionary organization like Anusilan Samiti, Abhinav Bharat, they are getting created and they are fighting. Then so their bigger fight by 1913 to 1915 is known as Gadar movement. Then फिर उसके बाद in 1915 arrival of Gandhi, beginning of the Gandhian movements like, so initially Gandhi is doing the regional intervention in Champaran, Ahmedabad and Kheda. फिर उसके बाद दिन रोलेट सत्याग्रह, फिर नॉन कॉपरेशन मूवमेंट, देन सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट, इंडिविजुअल सत्याग्रह, 1942 से 47 के बीच में क्विट इंडिया मूवमेंट. तो दीज आर सम ऑफ द मेन मूवमेंट फ्रॉम दिस साइड. रेवोल्यूशनरी मूवमेंट की जहाँ तक बात करें तो पहला था 1905 to 1915 is the अनुशीलन समिति, अभिनव भारत and then Gadar movement. Then 1924 to 34 the movements which were initiated by Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev, these all you will be studying. And then the last is 1942 to 47. The main revolutionary leader in 1942 to 47, Subhash Chandra Bose. And then creation of Azad Hind Fauj and the revolt in the Royal Indian Navy. So these are the topics. अब जहाँ तक बात रही इस section से questions की, तो this is the favorite part of the UPSC in prelims also and mains also. So 60% of the questions in prelims examination you can expect from this part, and so as the 60% of the question in the mains examination you expect from this part. And moreover, that there is a generalized tendency in the interviews also, that when you go into the interview, so often every second candidate is asked questions related to Indian freedom struggle. Right? So there also you have a little bit of more questioning from the freedom struggle part of India. Then how much aware you are, sometimes personality, sometimes their contribution. So they do ask, and sometimes they do ask historical problems which hasn't been solved even till this date. Then so these lingers on. So these are the parts. अब रही बात, अब आगे आते हैं आर्ट एंड कल्चर पे. आर्ट एंड कल्चर में एज आई मेंशन टू यू, सो मेन टॉपिक्स क्या हैं जहाँ से क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. सो main topics will be architecture and sculpture of India, then after religion and philosophy, then classical dance, classical music, Indian painting, language and literature, bhakti and Sufi movement. So as far as Indian architecture and sculpture is concerned, near about 45 to 50% question every year in prelims and mains are from this section. Religion and philosophy mein favorite of UPSC is Buddhism and Jainism, and I haven't seen a paper in last 14 years jahan pe in section se koi question na ho. What does it mean? Every year there has been one or two question from Buddhism and Jainism in the prelims examination. Mains mein they do ask little less, but then prelims mein pakka hoga. Then comes classical dance and classical music. So classical dance और classical music को combine करें तो 3 साल में ऐसे होता है that in 3-year question paper, 1 year question would be there from classical dance, 1 year music, 1 साल gap, ठीक है, फिर वही repetition. तो 6 year के duration में दोनों topics मिला के 4 questions होते हैं. Then after that Indian painting. So Indian painting particularly there has been in last 10 years, there has been 4 questions from this in the prelims examination and 2 questions in the mains examination. Then uske baad painting के बाद what I mentioned, Indian literature. Literature is the favorite of UPSC. Last 5 year में 12 क्वेश्चन थे आर्ट एंड कल्चर में लिटरेचर से. So 5 ईयर में 12 क्वेश्चन, मीनिंग दैट कि 2 से ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं लिटरेचर से. सो लिटरेचर विल इंक्लूड, मेजर फोकस इज दैट Sanskrit literature, Buddhist literature, Jain literature, and Tamil literature. These are the 4 important focus of the UPSC, and then the 5th is the Persian literature. So ये 5 literature से सबसे ज़्यादा questions पूछे हैं, but उसमें भी maximum is from the Sanskrit itself. More than half is Sanskrit, and more than 25% is the Buddhist and Jain literature. And बाकी के 25% में बाकी सारे literature. Then what about the Bhakti and Sufi? So every 4th year they do ask a question in the prelims examination from the Bhakti Sufi. Prelims में 4 साल के बाद. And so as in the mains examination also, 4th or 5th year they do ask a question from the Bhakti and Sufi. Then there are some smaller topics also, लाइक थिएटर, पपेट्री. तो पपेट्री से तो कभी क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछा है लास्ट 15 साल में, बट देन थिएटर से दे हैव आस्क्ड 1 or 2 क्वेश्चंस इन द लास्ट फ्यू ईयर्स. देन सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स which are being asked from the prelims, that art and culture section. Now let's come to that what all reference material that you will be having for your preparation. So for example, that these are, it's not my recommendation, I'm just telling you that these are some of the books that people refer. कि मॉडर्न इंडिया बाय अर्जुन देव, ये मैं रिकमेंड करूँगा. क्लास 8 ओल्ड एनसीईआरटी, that if you want to start, if you haven't started modern Indian history, to start with old Arjun Dev class 8th NCERT. It's a very beautiful book, very easy language and very informative. So your initial foundation and structure will be created on the basis of it. Rather than going with any guidebook, I would say that go with this one. फिर आता है that this used to be a very popular book earlier. Then that struggle for independence, Bipin Chandra and 4 more writers are there. तो बिपिन चंद्रा एंड 4 मोर राइटर्स, इसमें मेंस के में काफ़ी क्वेश्चंस आए हैं इनकी किताब से. अभी भी इट्स अ वेरी रेलिवेंट बुक, बट इट इज़ इन द स्टोरी फॉर्मेट. बट द प्रॉब्लम विद द बुक इज दैट इट स्टार्ट्स विद द 1857. उसके पहले की इवेंट्स दे आर नॉट मेंशन्ड इन दिस बुक. देन योर फेवरेट बुक, अ ब्रीफ हिस्ट्री ऑफ मॉडर्न इंडिया, राजे वहीर, स्पेक्ट्रम पब्लिकेशन. देखो, इट इज़ अ हिस्ट्री. हिस्ट्री में ऐसा तो नहीं है कि इफ़ आई एम टीचिंग यू सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट तो मैं अलग इन्फॉर्मेशन पढ़ाऊंगा और किताबों में अलग दिया होगा. जो हुआ है वही तो पढ़ाऊंगा ना, और जो हुआ है वही तो लिखेंगे ना. तो इट्स नॉट लाइक कि एनी बुक इज बैड. जो भी रेफर कर रहे हो उसको मल्टीप्लाई मत करो. प्लीज गो विद जस्ट फ्यू बुक्स, नॉट मेनी बुक्स. देन एनी ऑफ द बुक, if you feel comfortable with those books, language समझ में आ रही है, you are able to retain the information, because all of us are different minds. हम सबका दिमाग अलग अलग तरीके से काम करता है, एक जैसा काम नहीं करता है. तो what suits you among these all books you can go with, but इसको कॉमन रखना, ठीक है. Then brief history of modern India, राजे वहीर. एक प्रॉब्लम है इस किताब के साथ भी, that this book was this much thick, ठीक है, टिल 2017. और 17 के बाद 18 से दे मेड इट दिस मच. ना तो यूपीएससी ने सिलेबस चेंज किया, ठीक है, ना तो यूपीएससी ने सिलेबस चेंज किया, और ना ही बुक की थिकनेस बढ़ने से बुक से ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन आने लगे. तो दैट इज यू टू डिसाइड. एंड वन ऑफ द रीजन दैट वाई थिकनेस इंक्रीज, दे एडेड पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस इन द पार्ट. तो इवन इफ यू हैव स्पेक्ट्रम, यू आर गोइंग विद इट, डोंट रीड देयर पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस. 300 पेजेस नहीं पढ़ना, बहुत बेकार दिया हुआ है. सो दैट इज वन थिंग. देन दिस इज द अर्जुन देव वाली किताब, image of it, so you can go with this one, that class 8 old NCERT. It is mentioned as social science part 1, modern India, class 8. Then this is spectrum, ठीक है. So this is the Bipin Chandra's book. मेंस में पिछले 20 सालों में जितने क्वेश्चन बिपिन चंद्रा से आए हैं मेंस में, किसी भी किताब से नहीं आए हैं. देन तो डायरेक्ट वर्ड्स हैव बीन टेकन फ्रॉम द बिपिन चंद्रा इन द मेंस एग्जामिनेशन. So it's but then there are more writers. अब एक और चीज़ मैं बताऊँ, बिपिन चंद्र was a leftist historian. So obviously that left right भी समझना होगा तुम्हें जब तब तैयारी कर रहे हो. And moreover, there is no complete clear picture of the history. There is no complete one correct version of the history. So leftism became popular in India after India's independence. And then after, in today's time, so there is an attempt to bring back the correct history. So there is not too much of orientation towards leftist people. And Bipin Chandra's book was basically leftist orientation. So जैसे एक टेंडेंसी होती है कि तुम अगर जो मेरे फेवरेट हो, तुम गलती करो तो मैं किसी को बताते वक्त तुम्हारी गलती नहीं बताऊंगा. मैं बोलूँगा कि थोड़ा नादान है, ठीक है, कभी कभी कुछ ऊपर नीचे कर देता है. बट कोई और अगर जो मेरा फेवरेट नहीं हो और वो अगर जो गलती करता है तो आई वुड से कि बहुत ही बेकार है, एकदम बददिमाग है. यू गेटिंग इट? दैट्स व्हाट इज देयर, दैट in any human being this tendency is there. So leftist historians has this tendency of saying something good about someone and hiding something. So then aaj ke time pe it has become less favorable. So that's how they were also very smart, so they have brought other writers also. So now it has become a balanced book, theek hai, completely leftist nahi hai. So you can read it. Then ये भी एक ऑप्शन है जो तुम देख सकते हो मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री के लिए, क्लास 12th की ओल्ड एनसीईआरटी, एंड दिस इज बिपिन चंद्रा. बट आई एम सेइंग ऑप्शन क्योंकि मैं इसे रिकमेंड नहीं करता हूँ, अर्जुन देव रिकमेंड करता हूँ, बिकॉज अर्जुन देव्स बुक इज न्यूट्रल, बिपिन चंद्राज बुक इज नॉट न्यूट्रल. देन तो दिस यू कैन लीव. देन इफ यू हैव परचेज तो इसकी जगह पे प्लीज गो विद द अर्जुन देव. और इंफॉर्मेशन वाइज अर्जुन देव इस किताब से ज़्यादा है, ठीक है, और लैंग्वेज भी काफ़ी अच्छी है. देन फॉर एंशियंट इंडिया यू कैन स्टार्ट योर प्रिपरेशन विद द क्लास 11th एनसीईआरटी ऑफ आर्य शर्मा, राम शरण शर्मा. देन दिस विल बी good enough for you. Then moreover, this is an NCERT of the art and culture, and it was released in 2011. So this is Introduction to the Indian Art Part 1. You can refer this NCERT, but language is little complex, तो पढ़ने में थोड़ा ज़्यादा टाइम लगेगा. Then Medieval India, you can refer सतीश चंद्रा. This is the book of सतीश चंद्रा, class 11th. अच्छी किताब है. मेडिवल के इंफॉर्मेशन बहुत हद तक 90% तक एड्रेस हो जाते हैं यहाँ से. देन तो यू कैन रेफर टू सतीश चंद्रा. एंड दिस इज माय ओन बुक ऑफ आर्ट एंड कल्चर, and this is some of you are knowing but some of you are not knowing. So I run a channel, YouTube channel, where I cover the art and culture topics for anybody, everybody. ठीक है. See, there would be the paid structures later on, but then right now there is nothing like this. So there are some topics which I keep free for everybody, so you can refer to my YouTube channel Culture Quantum, and I do upload many such informative informations और मेरे अपने predictions होते हैं एग्जाम से रिलेटेड कि मुझे क्या लग रहा है कि एग्जाम में क्या आना चाहिए. तो that is there on the Culture Quantum YouTube also and my Telegram channel also. तो Telegram channel से you can just download some of the notes which I have uploaded related to the topic. Before going, I just need to tell you, last year prelims के पहले I created 3 videos, and particularly that art and culture का एक video बनाया था लगभग 35 minutes का, and then 12 topics I predicted in that 35 minutes. Out of 6 questions of the art and culture, 4 topics were there from the 12 predicted topics which I did in 35 minutes. So it itself is a kind of a added advantage to you. मैं ऐसा नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि हर ईयर मतलब भगवान माँ सरस्वती का आशीर्वाद होगा तो आ गया, ठीक है. But then I do this predictions on the basis of the analysis that कि पिछले ईयर्स में क्या ट्रेंड रहा है. एंड सिंस यू आर स्टार्टिंग, तुम्हारे पास उतना स्कोप नहीं है कि तुम 25 साल रिमेंबर कर सको, बट चूंकि और तुम्हें 25 सब्जेक्ट पढ़ने हैं, बट आई एम स्टडिंग ओनली वन थिंग, ठीक है. तो it is just before all the questions and everything just before are my eyes. Then so I can create a graph and then everything, and on the basis of it I do the prediction. So the question was there, and so as from the modern Indian history also I created only one topic और उससे क्वेश्चन आ गया. सिर्फ एक प्रेडिक्शन किया था, एक प्रेडिक्शन आ गया. देन तो I do this thing, but this I do in the last leg. कि कब है एग्जाम इस बार 27th or 26th of May, I think. So I'll be doing it in the early May, 1st or 2nd of May. I'll be releasing these type of the videos then. So you can always be associated with it, and then it's up to you that you can do the preparation without the help of any mentor also, and you can do it with the mentor also. It all depends on your own way of learning, your own capacity, but these are the main textbook that you can go ahead with it then. So with this all, I'm ending up the session. I hope it will be helpful to you. If any question is there, so last 2-3 minutes I'll take up some question because I have a class, so I'll have to go to the other center. So if you have any question, please ask. किसी को पूछना है? Anybody? No, it's good. जब मैम की क्लास में तुम्हारे ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन थे. It's good, thank you. चलो, so I'll wind up the session and then who will take? Piyush. तो इकोनॉमिक्स फैकल्टी विल कम, ही विल टेक द इकोनॉमिक्स वाला सेशन. ठीक है, चलो, थैंक. वो तो देखो, दिस इज अ ह्यूमन टेंडेंसी. हम सब के साथ कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा होता है कि कुछ चीज़ें हम याद रख पाते हैं, कुछ चीज़ें हम भूल जाते हैं. ठीक है, सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू विल हैव टू रिमूव फ्रॉम योर माइंड दैट हिस्ट्री इज डिफिकल्ट. First is very important in any subject, not just in the history, is to be determined that no matter what, I will remember the facts, I will clear this exam. तो जब determination high होता है, तो अंदर से बहुत सारे actually I would rather say I will go in a different direction. It's a chemical reaction in our body that we remember something and we tend to forget something. So first of all, we will have to make ourselves believe that nothing is difficult and you will remember it, you will master it. Then only you will master it. And moreover, to remember the facts, history याद ही होती है stories के through. If you have the stories, if you have read the stories or the background, you will always tend to remember. But if it is only fact mugging, तो fact mugging में confusion होगा, तुम भूल जाओगे. Then, so you have to remember it with the story. And many a times it depends on कि किससे हिस्ट्री पढ़ी है. बहुत बार क्या होता है कि हमारा अपना जो एट्रीब्यूट होता है वो खराब नहीं होता है, हम खराब लोगों से पढ़ के हम उस सब्जेक्ट से हेट करने लगते हैं. ये टेंडेंसी नहीं होना चाहिए. तो ओनस इज ऑन यू कि फाइंड गुड पीपल who, or matlab you must get associated with the good people who tell you story in a that history in a story format, जिससे तुम्हारा interest generate हो, and then you will always be able to remember the facts. So this is the thing that I would like to say, and this is the format which I follow because I happen to get a very good teacher. That my teacher of the history, he was very good, and he actually left UPSC industry also. He is a practicing lawyer in the Supreme Court. So he was from Indore, and I'm just kind of that. I'll tell you his name is Rashid Yasin, and then I feel myself that I'm fortunate that Rashid sir taught me. And मेरे बैच के बाद जो मैंने उनसे पढ़ा था उसके बाद इन्होंने यूपीएससी छोड़ दिया. तो I was lucky enough, and his story format was always inspirational to me, and I followed the same thing. Right? तो चलो, with these words I'm winding up. Yes, हाँ, ठीक है, ठीक है. देखो एसएससी में कोई भी ना, मैं बोलूँगा कि कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन नहीं है दोनों एग्जाम में. चक्कर क्या है कि एसएससी में तुम्हें मैथमेटिक्स पे थोड़ा ज़्यादा ध्यान देना होता है. जैसे जो पोर्शन हो गया मैथमेटिक्स एप्टीट्यूड, तो एक वे में ऐसे सोचो कि अगर जो मैथमेटिक्स तुम अच्छे से कर रहे हो तो सीसेट में भी तुमको फ़ायदा हो रहा है. ठीक है, और जहाँ तक बात रही जीएस के पेपर की, तो जीएस के पेपर की यूपीएससी ज़्यादा इन डेप्थ एनालिसिस पेपर है, ज़्यादा इन डेप्थ पेपर है. अगर जो जीएस की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो यहाँ पे, तो ऑटोमेटिकली तुम्हारा एसएससी बेटर हो जाएगा. इनफैक्ट कि एसएससी यूपीएससी इज अ बिगर अम्ब्रेला अंडर विच एसएससी एंड ऑल मेनी ऑफ द वन डे एग्जाम्स विल बी कवर्ड. एंड आज अगर जो हम देखें, सी सेट के पेपर में बहुत लोग क्लियर नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. 66 मार्क्स हैज बिकम टू डिफिकल्ट फॉर पीपल टू क्लियर इट. So if in through SSC your aptitude is becoming better, your mathematics is becoming better, so you have more tendency of clearing the prelims examination. So it's no way contradiction, it is always going to be very helpful. ठीक है, anyone else? पूछना है किसी को कुछ? चलो, हाँ, बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल। वो तो ऑब्वियसली एक 45 मिनट के क्लास में तो इट विल बी डिफ़िकल्ट एंड इट टेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम, बट एनालिसिस होता है, तो वो हम क्लासेस में पक्का करते हैं। अब सी दैट इट्स सेशन इज़ ऑल अबाउट कि इट्स नॉट टू टेल यू कि मतलब कोचिंग जॉइन ही करो या ये करो। ऑब्वियसली नॉट, देयर आर एन नंबर ऑफ द पीपल हू हैव क्लियर्ड द एग्ज़ाम विदाउट the coachings, and there are a number of the people who need coaching, ठीक है? तो you decide that what is better for you then, and analytical things, तो उसके लिए हम विजन में अलग से भी स्कोप रखते हैं जो PYQs डिस्कस करते हैं प्रीलिम्स के या मेंस के, तो वहाँ पे हम डिफरेंट एनालिसिस के एस्पेक्ट को ये करते हैं। तो इसीलिए मैंने बोला कि वो 10 ईयर का PYQ जो है मॉडर्न का, एंशियंट मिडीवल का, आर्ट एंड कल्चर का, प्लीज़ गो थ्रू दैट, यू विल गेट मोर आइडियाज़ अबाउट इट। ठीक है, तो चलो आई विल वाइंड अप, आई विल सेंड पीयूष सर फॉर द इकोनॉमिक्स क्लासेस एंड होपफुली आई एम मीटिंग यू अगेन किसी सेशन या किसी क्लास। डन, चलो थैंक यू।